Welcome to How to Make Dinner. I'm about to show you 5 ways to reduce waste in the kitchen with these simple zero waste hacks. Okay, so this is a little bit of a different style of episode, and it's about plastic and kitchen waste in general. I feel a bit weird doing this episode because I kind of feel like it's not my usual topic. It's not usually what I talk about. I'm not like a zero waste YouTuber, but I have some tricks in the kitchen for reducing plastic and just making less garbage and creating less waste that it actually really excites me, and I want to talk about it. Like, I'm excited about my little hacks and tricks that I come up with. So I wanted to share them with you. So here they are. There are a few obvious ways to create less waste that I think most people are already doing now, or many people are already doing now. I'm not going to talk about those things. Those are the things like use reusable cloth bags when you go to the grocery store, and buy in bulk, and support local farmers and local vendors. Those are all great things. Those are things that I do my best to do. I mean, our eggs, for example, are delivered by a guy who goes around to all the local farms and collects eggs, and I give him our old cartons that we've used and he replaces them with full cartons, which is really, really nice. I like to buy in bulk. For example, this is the bag of rice that we're currently working on. It's a big ass bag, you know? It's not like we're not buying these little tiny bags that's gonna give us 2 dinners and then we're done. This is how we shop for things like rice and you know, things that we use a lot of. So those are the obvious things that I hope everybody's, you know, doing their best to do as often as they can. But I'm gonna talk about some things that I think are kind of fun and that I really haven't heard anybody talking about, and I watch a lot of zero waste YouTubers, so I feel like I should know. Let me just put this rice away and I'll be right back. Number 1, reusing jars. I see a lot of zero wasters, YouTubers, influencers, and all that showing off their beautiful, you know, bulk selection of beans and spices and rices and things like that. And they're all in like the most brand new, beautiful jars, like the Kilner jars and the Weck jars. And that's all great. But if we're really talking about how to reduce waste, recycle, man. Let me see if I can pull out some jars for you. Dried oregano in a weird unpasteurized vegetable juice jar. I don't know where that ever came from. I don't remember drinking it. Paprika in I guess this was for like antipasto or something like that. My dried dill is in a better than bouillon jar, for example. Chili flakes is in an old curry powder jar. So if I wanted to be really cool about it, I would take off all these labels and label them properly. Some of them I have done. This still says curry powder, which clearly it's not curry powder. This one, we actually spent the time to label nicely, oregano. But long story short, my spice cupboard doesn't look like one of those zero waste influencer type spice jars because it's ugly, because it's full of old recycled jars that have been used for years. But I think that's the better way. So I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna take my ugly jars and run happily with them into the night. I'm gonna share a picture of my spice cupboard on Instagram, and I'd love it if you would share yours too and tag me at How to Make Dinner, because it might be kind of fun. My next trick is reusing bags. So this isn't getting the reusable bags from the grocery store or buying them, you know, the cloth bags and reusing them. This is actually reusing the bags that your food arrives in. Hold on. So it's stuff like this, you know. I bought some buns the other day from the grocery store, Portuguese buns, and they came in this bag. This bag is not going to the recycling, the plastic bag recycling, because A, apparently that's a scam according to a CBC documentary we watched the other day, and B, it's a perfectly good bag that I can use for perfectly good things, like quite a few times. All it has is a couple of breadcrumbs in it, but I just shake them out and it's a great bag. This bag was for almonds, and again, little almond dust, never hurt anyone, well, unless you're allergic to almonds, but we're not. So I can use this for all kinds of things, and it's a Ziploc. It's like win-win. So that's my second trick. My third tip is, instead of covering bowls with plastic wrap, especially when you're baking and you're maybe trying to proof bread dough, or you're letting some dough rest for some reason, or you're just putting something in the fridge for a time, soaking beans, anything like that, you don't need to use saran wrap. You have these devices already that are perfectly designed to cover things, and they're called lids. So look at this lid. This lid fits perfectly onto this bowl. It's almost like it was meant to be. So I can knead some dough and put it in this bowl and put the lid on top and let it proof, and it's good to go. I mean, if I'm just putting it on the counter, I might even just cover it with the bowl, but what I mean is plastic wrap has no job here. We don't need plastic wrap. And you can cover other things with reusable things. I devote this tip especially to my mom because this is her idea. She likes to cook her oatmeal ahead of time, so she'll cook like a big batch of steel cut oats, and then she'll have a few bowls worth that she'll just microwave or heat up as she needs them. And the way that she does that is she puts them in the bowl, and then she puts a lid in the form of a plate on the bowl, and then she can stack like many porridge bowls in the fridge with plates as lids. It's great. And you can use the lid to heat it up in the microwave as well, so that your porridge doesn't, freak out and splatter all over the place. So thanks, Mom, for that tip. It's very handy. I mean, obviously you have to be a bit careful not to break this stuff, but these dishes are very durable. I've dropped so many of these Corels. Like through my childhood, we always had these dishes, and I don't even know how many I've dropped on the floor, and they seem to never break. So that's a great little tip. This next zero waste tip is actually something we're kind of beta testing at this household right now. It kind of just dawned on me the other day that the only reason I buy plastic bags or would ever need plastic bags is for garbage. So as an actual garbage bag. But then I realized if we're already putting all of our food scraps into the compost bin, there's really not anything kind of wet or gross going into the garbage can. So why can't we use a paper bag for garbage instead of a plastic bag? So, long story short, we're testing this currently as we speak. This bag is full of garbage. And so far it's going great. I mean, there's twist ties, the odd twist tie. If there's some of those net bags that onions come in. There's some weird bits and pieces in there, but nothing's gross, so it's not, it's not gonna mush through the paper or anything. So I'm feeling pretty confident about this hack. I want to hear if anyone else is doing this already, because it dawned on me like a total light bulb the other day, and I've never heard of anyone using it, paper bag for garbage, like for kitchen garbage, you know what I mean? So let me know if you're already way ahead of the curve on this one, and if I've just been sleeping under a rock or something. They're super wasteful. Speaking of net bags, I hate those things. Yes, I buy onions in net bags sometimes, and really that's the next thing to go, because I can't stand it. It's way cheaper to buy a bag of onions than it is to buy individual onions. It's kind of like the lemon thing too. Okay, you guys, the last and final tip of the day is, I think, is completely revolutionary. I hope you're excited, because I'm excited. So this is everybody's issue, right? You have half an onion. You have half of a red pepper. You have half of a bunch of cilantro. You cannot tell me this is not a problem for you unless you're a non-cilantro eater. Everybody has half a bunch of cilantro in their fridge going bad right now, I swear. So, and we always put them in like weird little bags. Like we might put them in, you know, we might have bought it in a produce bag, we wrap it up, we shove it in the back of our fridge, it turns to mush. We might have, hold on. We might have even splurged on these beeswax wraps, which I think are really cool. This one has cheese in it. Beeswax wraps are awesome. We have a couple of great companies here in Victoria that make them. And we think, oh, I've got the beeswax wraps now, my food's gonna last forever. But although it does last longer, it doesn't last forever. And these do wear out eventually, and they're kind of expensive. And the other thing about these is, I love you beeswax wraps, but you can't see what's inside of them. And that's a shame. Like this whole time, I thought that this was a Parmesan rind, and then I just opened it to find out that it's actually a little small chunk of mozzarella, which is not gonna serve the same purpose that the Parmesan rind would have. So I was left disappointed. Anyway, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. All I'm saying is beeswax wraps are great, but they're not a perfect solution. You know, using the bag that you got the thing in is fine, but it's not a perfect solution. This Tupperware is now the home of all of my veggie scraps. So if I have half a pepper, goes in there. A couple of bits of celery that I didn't use, it goes in there. I've got half a tomato in there, cilantro bits, you name it, like anything. And then that means that at the end of the week, and it's time to just have like a clean out the fridge lentil soup, this is where I turn. This is my resource for all the things I need. It's all in one place. You can see what you have. You can see the scraps you have that you need to use up. And they're staying nice and fresh and keeping each other company in this little tub. Scrap tub, I tell you. Okay, so I know I've been rambling. Okay, so my 5 ways to reduce waste in the kitchen are as follows. Number 1, reuse your jars. Number 2, reuse your plastic bags that your food comes in. Number 3, use a lid for dough rather than wrapping it with plastic. Dough or anything. I mostly use it for dough. Let's be real. Number 4, try a paper bag for garbage if you're already on the compost train. I don't see a problem with it. Let me know if you agree. And number 5 is my beloved favorite tip of all, the veggie scrap tub. That's it. That's the video. So I hope you liked my zero waste kitchen tips today. I know it was a bit of a different style of video. I'm really excited about these tips. I hope you can tell. And I hope you have a great fall. We're getting into the fall now, back to school, time to get organized, time to get all those scraps in the veggie tub. And thanks so much for joining me. If you like this episode, I'd love it if you'd hit the like button. And if you like cooking and food related content to populate your feed every week, hit the subscribe button because I'm here doing this a lot. I can't wait to see you next week when we're cooking something for real. I love my scrap tub.
I'll let you just